The 4:30 closed session of the City Council. Could I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Waller,
Present.
Councilmember Castle,
Here.
Councilmember Kelly-Jedovich,
Here.
Councilmember Obaji, Councilmember Barrett,
Here.
and Mayor Light.
Here. Do we have any blue folder items for the closed session?
There are no blue folder items for the closed session.
Okay, there's no one in the audience. Is anyone online for public communications on closed session items and non-agenda items?
There are no members online.
Okay, could you read off what we'll be discussing in closed session?
As authorized by the government code as listed on the published city council agenda, council will discuss the following closed session items. F1, conference with real property negotiator regarding the portions of Redondo Beach Marina parking lot and Seaside Lagoon, portions of APN numbers 7503-029-900 and 7503-029-903.
Okay, thank you. All of one item tonight. City Manager Witsansky, who will be speaking to item F1?
Yes, for item F1, myself, City Attorney Joy Ford, Assistant City Attorney Cheryl Park, and Luke Smoody, Assistant to the City Manager.
Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to recess to closed session.
Move to recess to closed session.
Second.
All for it?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we are recessing to closed session. We'll be back on or about 6 o'clock to report anything out of the closed session and to start the open session. Thank you. Back to order. We're coming back from closed session. Could I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Waller. Councilmember Castle.
Present.
Councilmember Koljevic.
Here.
Councilmember Obaji.
Present.
Councilmember Barrett.
Here.
And Mayor Light.
Here. Okay, is any member of the audience an active duty military or a veteran? If so, please stand to be recognized for your service. Thank you. And now let us all rise for the pledge to the flag and then remain standing afterwards for a moment of silent invocation. We don't have a student today, so Councilmember Waller, as Mayor Pro Tem, would you mind leading us in
I can do that.
the pledge to the flag?
Everybody, right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please remain standing for a moment of silent invocation. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm out of order. I forgot. Do we have any, you can be seated. Do we have anything to announce from closed session?
No items this evening, Mayor.
Okay. So with that, can I get a motion to go to open session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all for it?
All right.
Anybody opposed? No. Okay, now can I get the roll call for the open session of the city council?
Councilmember Waller.
Present.
Councilmember Castle.
Here.
Councilmember Koljevic.
Here.
Councilmember Obaji.
Here.
Councilmember Barrett.
Here.
And Mayor Light.
Here. We got ahead of ourselves, so we've already done the salute to the flag and the invocation. Do we have any blue folder items?
There are 4 blue folder items tonight, Mayor. There's
Wait,
one.
I don't know why I'm having problems tonight. Okay, so now it's D, presentations, proclamations, announcements, and AB 1, 2, 3, 4 travel expense reports. I have no presentations or proclamations. I did attend this week, the SCAG, this past week, the Southern California Association of Governments Regional Council and the U.S. Council of Mayors meeting in Long Beach. I also had meetings with the Water Quality Control Board, and there was a convening called by the county on marine mammals, and I attended that this week. And upcoming, we've got June 13th being celebrated at the library here from 12 to 3. That's all I had. Councilmember Waller.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, I attended the LA County Sanitation District meeting as the, not quite Mayor Pro Tem, but substitute on Wednesday. And then later that day, went to dine around Riviera Village. I walked about 2 miles more than usual and ate about 2 days worth of food as well myself. It was a full event. A lot of people were there. I'd say the only thing I heard that might have been a complaint was that people filled up about halfway through. So look forward to another one of those, as well as dine around Artesia. I don't have that information here, but they're just now announcing dine around Artesia. Also went to the Clean Power Alliance board meeting last week. The rates for electricity that we set there for the 100% green, which is what most of people in Redondo Beach have, is about 7% higher than SoCal Edison's rates. That said, Edison still charges for transmission and a PCIA charge, which means that even that 7% higher electricity generation rate means your bill is only going to be 2 or 3% higher than if you had Edison and you'd have 100% green power. If you're on the lean power or the any of the other powers, your rates will be either equal to or less than what Edison charges. I also attended the California Cities Housing, Community, and Economic Development Policy Committee meeting last week. We had a presentation about BACA, which is Building an Affordable California Act, sponsored by the California Chamber of Commerce as a CEQA reform. You might want to start reading about this. I believe it's going to be on our November ballot, so it's going to be an issue that you're all going to want to know more about as things move along. The South Bay City's Council of Governments Steering Committee was yesterday, and we are setting the agenda for the meeting that's coming up in 2 weeks. And then coming up later this week, Thursday morning, the NRBBA will have their meeting, Rise and Shine Redondo, 7:45 at the Galleria. They will be awarding Volunteer and Business of the Year awards and discussing their 5-year strategic plan. And then Friday, of course, is another Cruise in the Lagoon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Castle.
Just a couple of events last week. I attended the Dine Around the Riviera, which, as Councilmember Waller said, was a great event and well attended by everyone and sold out the 500 tickets that were available. I also attended the Redondo Beach Roundtable Luncheon on Thursday. And then this week, on Saturday, I'm having a community meeting at Wilderness Park in the community room on Saturday morning at 10:30. And the guest speaker for that will be our Community Services Director, Elizabeth House. And she'll be speaking on everything about the parks, summer camps, senior services, and all of the activities that are available to residents here in Redondo Beach for the summer. And then immediately following that, I'll be coming here to City Hall to attend the Juneteenth celebration and summer reading kickoff at the library that's going to be hosted here in the traffic circle outside of City Hall. So on Saturday morning.
Okay, Councilmember Kalajevic.
Yep, just two quick things. I did also attend the Redondo Beach Roundtable Lunch and toured Alcove with the group. And tomorrow, Wednesday, June 10th at 6 p.m., we will be, Councilman Barrett and I will be hosting a community event discussion about crossing guards at Lincoln Elementary School in the cafeteria at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Obaji.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. A little delayed reporting on my AB 1234 reporting. I attended the Medal of Valor luncheon a few weeks back, and thank you to our heroic police officers and firefighters. I want to tell you something I felt conflicted about when I was at the Medal of Valor luncheon. Kyle Lofstrom was being honored for his community service orientation, and I wanted to give him a standing ovation because he does such a phenomenal job leading our police department and being part of the community, leading the way through law enforcement. The perfect emblem. But there's also all these police officers and firefighters who are also so heroic. And I didn't want to stand up every time. But anyway, just a big shout out. Big shout out to Kyle Lofstrom and everybody else who was honored there. Last thing, I just came back from a vacation in the south of France. Beautiful place with views that rival the Esplanade here. But one thing I noticed every day I was there, the air quality was always better in Redondo Beach than it is in the south of France. So I was very pleased and very happy to be back here in the South Bay.
Are you going to move that we have an F1 here in Redondo?
No, I'm good. I don't want cruise ships either, because actually that's what they complain about is cruise ships parking there and idling and polluting their air. We don't have that here, and it's lovely.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Barrett.
Thank you, Mayor. Two announcements. First, wanted to report back on the Pillars of Public Safety event, which we had last week with DA Nathan Hockman at the RB PAC. And I got to tell you, Jack Meyer and his team, great hosts. We had John and Wilson. Our guest, as we know, was the District Attorney for Los Angeles, DA Nathan Hockman, who gave a riveting presentation, engaged also in some animated and informative Q&A. Well, and notwithstanding some disruptions towards the end, I will say it was a terrific event. But I must say the real takeaway from that Pillars of Public Safety event was the conduct of our police department, Redondo Beach Police Department. I mean, they were so professional. We were safe, we felt safe, and you know, it's not like that in every city, as we know, every county, but it certainly struck me well. I know it struck the DA well as a job well done, and I see we have our chief, Steve Springles, here, Officer Lofstrom. I know Captain Vince DeLeva was there, and I know Captain Long was ready to go if called. So thank you for that, and thank you, City Manager, for this team. Appreciate it. To pick up on Councilmember Kaladerovich's point, yes, Wednesday, tomorrow, 6 p.m., Lincoln Elementary School. We're going to have our final community event on crossing guards as we continue to announce and publicize and republicize our locations for next school year, starting August, continuing to get that out there, let it sink in, and that's important to do. And we're going to be talking traffic safety, traffic calming, volunteer opportunities, taking questions, giving answers, and refreshments will be served. So hope to see you then, spread the word. And that's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go back on a couple things. First off, at the Southern California Association of Governments meeting, I'm on the Housing and Economic Development Committee now, and the discussion there is we're actually kicking off the new arena cycle that's coming up. We're starting it a year early. We'll have to turn in ours April 30th because LA County got a 6-month extension. So we're going, even though I feel like we just completed our housing element yet again, we'll be going back into that fairly soon. They told us, you know, a little discouraging news to not expect the arena to go down in this cycle. And then at the U.S. Council of Mayors, there's a number of different presentations and stuff. I attended one on technology with public safety. I was very proud because the hot topic was drones as a first responder, and Redondo is certainly a leader in that. I think we were one of the smallest cities that had a drone as a first responder. A lot of them were flying the handheld drone or the hand-controlled drones out of their police cars, but we're one of the few that has the drone as a first responder. So very proud of the capability that our public safety team is bringing to both support on the crime side and on the public safety side of things. So it was a very proud moment for me. So I think that's all the marine mammal convening started with releasing sea lions at Dockweiler Beach, which was pretty cool to see again. With that, we'll jump to item E, approving the order of the agenda. Does any member of the council wish to pull anything or change the order of the agenda? No? Okay, could I get a motion to approve the order of the agenda as written?
Move to approve the agenda as written.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All for?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. We will follow the agenda as written. We have no agency recess this time, so we're going down to item G, blue folder items. Do we have any blue folder items this evening?
Yes, Mayor, we have 4 items, blue folder items. We have one item for H15 regarding a revised agreement for the legal services with Myers-Nave. We have a public communications for item J1, and then we have 2 blue folder items for L1. We have a public communication, and then a revised BRR for number 9 and number 49. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I get a motion to receive and file the blue folder items?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All for? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Now we're going down to the consent calendar. We have items H1 through H16. Does any member of the council wish to pull any of the items H1 to H16? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Before I call the vote, does any member of the public wish to speak to items H1 through H16? Looks like we have no written cards, so anybody can come up. I see nobody in the audience. Anyone online?
There's no one online, Mayor.
Okay, with that, I will call the vote. All for approving the consent calendar.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Is there anything you need to read? There's some resolutions.
Yes, there are 4 items, Mayor. Item H6, adopt by 4/5 vote and by title only a resolution number CC-2606037, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Redondo Beach, California, authorizing a 2025 to 2026 fiscal year budget modification to appropriate $9,643 in Department of Resources Recycling and Recovery, the Cal Recycle Grant funds to the Intergovernmental Grants Fund. H8, adopt by title only resolution number CC-2606037, 2025-038, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Redondo Beach, California, adopting a list of projects for fiscal year 2026 to 2027, funded by Senate Bill SB 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017. Item H11, adopt by title only, resolution number CC-2606-039, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Redondo Beach, California, declaring the replacement of equipment at the City Fuel Island project and ongoing maintenance services as maintenance and exempting it from bidding requirements pursuant to sections 19 and 19.1 sub A of the City Charter of Redondo Beach. And then item H14, adopt by title only, resolution number CC-2606-040, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Redondo Beach, California, amending the official book of class specifications for the position of Public Works Administrative Manager. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to public participation on non-agenda items. Before I read off the rules for tonight, I just want to give the audience a heads up. There are changes to the Brown Act that will be hitting us in July. And so we'll be altering the way we take public testimony, not just on non-agenda items, but on any item where there's public participation. We will have to alternate between people in the audience and people online to give everyone a fair shot at that. So that will hit in July after the council approves the new rules, and it will appear in the agenda, in the rules for the agenda, so everybody's aware of it. But I wanted to give folks a heads up. With that, tonight, we're still under the old rules, so this section is intended to provide members of the public with the opportunity to comment on any subject that does not appear on this agenda for action. This section will be limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes to address the mayor and the council on any subject that does not appear on the agenda for tonight. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once, written requests will be considered first under this section. So with that, I do have cards tonight. The first one is Eric Sainholtz and then Ron Morocco.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Eric Sainholtz. I've been a homeowner, a resident here since 2005. Since moving here, I've gotten married, I've started a family, and today my wife and I are raising 2 boys in the community. Redondo Beach has been our home for more than 20 years. And if you asked me during those 20 years if I'd ever addressed the city council, of course, I would have assumed that would be to discuss something important, something like public safety, our educational system, economic development around the pier, perhaps. But I'm actually here today to talk to you about my bushes. In late 2025, my family received the first of several notices from the city threatening legal action and monetary fines related to our professionally maintained landscaping that has been in place for decades without any issue. The notice arrived without warning, no prior discussions with anyone from the city, no discussions with any single neighbor. And like most homeowners, we were shocked, we were upset. We later learned that many other residents have actually received similar notices, all tied to complaints from one single individual. So I'm not actually here to talk to you about bushes. I'm here to talk to you about process. How does a complaint system designed to serve the community generate actions affecting dozens of households based primarily on the activity of one single individual? As a Marine Corps veteran, I believe in standards, I believe in accountability, and I believe in fairness. And throughout my professional career, candidly, I've learned that when one single source generates that disproportionate amount of activity, it warrants review. Not because the concerns are invalid, of course, because good governance actually requires visibility, context, and appropriate safeguards. These official notices carry weight. It's upsetting. They create stress, cost. They create friction across the neighbors. So when dozens of residents find themselves impacted by these actions of a single complainant, it is reasonable to ask whether additional review is warranted. The residents affected by these notices are not asking you to abandon standards. We're simply saying, hey, we support safety and responsible code enforcement. Therefore, my ask is threefold. pause any additional enforcement actions while the broader circumstances can be examined. Second, conduct a review of the actual process in its entirety to include activity patterns originating from single individuals. And third, revisit the code. Ensure it actually continues to reflect the intent of the code, but also recognize the practical applications in such a densely populated community. So this request is to strengthen the confidence in the process, ensuring that the enforcement is fair, proportional, and consistent across Redondo Beach.
Okay,
Thank you. What zip code do you live in?
90278.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well spoken, and you represented the Marine Corps well. Thanks for your service. Ron Morocco, and then Hai Tran.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Ron Morocco from District 3. Going over, we have about 150 historical landmarks in our city, but we only have 3 historical districts, and they're all in Council District 2. So in February, we added our last historic district, and that was over 35 years in the making. And it's a Garnett Street area, and it's a big deal that we should be recognizing in our community. So I came here about 3 weeks ago and showed you different designs for the signs. I had decided to go, since the pricing was right, to go get one of the signs made up. And I would like to present it to Councilmember Castle, since he is the one who has all 3 districts, historical districts in there. So I have this for you, Mike, may approach.
Can we have a motion to receive and, I guess, receive and file or just receive? Second.
Okay, we motion a second, all 4?
Aye.
Okay, you can approach that.
Thank you.
It's less valued at less than $100. So if that becomes an issue, it's a donation to the city. But I also, since the price was right, created a second sign, and I'm going to give this to the city manager, who hopefully will
Motion to allow.
put it up in place.
Motion to receive.
But I do appreciate all the support that you all have been giving us in the pursuit of historic districts and historic landmarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Hai Tran, and then Michael Beckman.
Good evening, Mayor Light, council members. My name is Hai Chan. I'm a resident of District 4 since 2015. So last week, I spoke before the council about the impact of hedge enforcement on our neighborhood and the stress and anxiety that it caused our residents. So today I want to raise a different but related issue, which is the complaint system that is driving the enforcement here. So yesterday I spent a little bit of time on our city's public complaint system, and what I found was troubling. There was 24 open code violations on the website. 21 of them are related to hedges. Only one actually has to do with overgrown vegetation that's intrudes on the public sidewalk. That does need to be addressed. The rest, 20 of them out of 24, that's over 80%, are related to hedge heights that do not pose any public safety threats. So that means over 80% of our code enforcement workload is focused on a single category of complaint, right? Time and resources that are not available for other issues that genuinely impact public welfare. Our code enforcement officers are being pulled away from the work that the city actually needs them to do. So I compare our numbers to Torrance. I went to their website. They also have a public database. They're about twice of our size, right? A little bit more than twice. And they have 60 open complaints, right? Only 2 are about hedge heights. So that's 3% of their complaints. So what's different about Torrance is that they require complainants to identify themselves. So I'll quote directly from the website of the City of Torrance. To help us follow up and investigate, the City of Torrance does not accept anonymous complaints and requires contact information with all submissions. So our system allows a single anonymous individual to generate dozens of enforcement actions across the neighborhood, forcing residents to spend thousands of dollars and destroy decades of mature landscaping without any accountability. We ask that the council to pause enforcement until that we've had the time to review the ordinance and to reform the complaint system so that complaints should be limited to immediate neighbors or from those with documented public safety concerns. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, sir. Michael Beckman. And then the last card I have right now is Holly Osborne.
Good evening. We bought our house in Redondo in 2015, and I'm here to talk about hedges also. Can't believe I'm talking about hedges at this time in my life, but we bought our house primarily because of the landscaping. It's beautiful. It creates, it adds the value of the neighborhood. We have animals living in it. We have birds nesting in it. I emailed 3 of the council members yesterday, so I'm not going to repeat everything. What struck me in the notice of enforcement was it didn't say anything about my property causing a public safety concern. And that doesn't make sense. I mean, if my landscaping was causing a public safety problem, then you bet I'd work with you to fix it. But to have an ordinance that just has a height limit without any requirement that it be a public safety nuisance before enforcing it, it seems to go against the fact that in 2024, Redondo Beach was named a tree city by the Arbor Foundation. So what I'm asking, in addition to what was asked by my 2 fellows before me, is that you do a referral so that this matter can be a formal agenda item, hopefully next month, but if not soon, and then not enforce the code until the matter is fully adjudicated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Holly Osborne, that's the last card I have.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. This is Holly Osborne, District 5. I was here virtually last time, but did not get to speak. I wanted to speak on an article that had just appeared in the paper, a green space shortage. That was in the June 2nd LA Times. Well, I am just as glad I had to wait because now there is another article in June 6th, LA Times, on air pollution. The first article says that the city of LA ranks 90th out of 100 cities in terms of average park space per 100 acres per 1,000 people. The LA Times called that, quote, the kind of mortifying ranking usually occupied in other categories by Mississippi, end quote. The average for Los Angeles County is 3.3 acres of parkland per 1,000 residents, and for Redondo, it's 1.4. I gave you the table. We're the worst of all the beach cities. Now, I'm very glad that you were able to get our housing element approved, and it sounds like you got someone that was reasonable because they'd approved it before, and then it got unapproved, but then they approved it again. But what I'm going to ask is, I'm talking about District 4. There's a senior housing complex, and it's very high density, but it's got a little park right next to it. And I hope you do not increase the FAR for school districts and take that green space away. I gave you a colored version of the map, and you can see how dense it is in that part of District 4. And then I was online last time listening to all the other people, and I thought, this is relevant to them too. Look how dense it is in that whole area. They're trying to create a little more shade and green space for their yards, and that should be rewarded, not penalized. When you read other articles on shade, if the temperature gets too hot, that's how important it is for seniors. They can die. It's just, Well, I won't go into this. You've already got this, but I'm saying I'm all for shade, and any little thing that people can do to increase the shade for their own property should be encouraged, not discouraged. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council on any items that are not on tonight's agenda? Okay, no one in the audience, anyone online?
We have one member online, Daryl Boyd.
Go ahead, Daryl.
Daryl Boyd, District 3. As a 39-year resident and 33-year homeowner, I certainly feel for the three gentlemen who just spoke about being attacked for their hedges, especially under the scope of public safety. What a joke. I'm speaking in defense of myself against Mayor Jim Light's claim that I berated a certain council member last week. I listened to the mayor berate the city manager for 30 minutes or so in the same meeting when the conversation wasn't going his way. So it's quite hypocritical for the supposed mayor to judge me or make such a statement. The mayor boasted about his support for a certain so-called marginalized group, stirring up division on Sunday morning of all days. The tax-paying residents of 500 to 600 North Prospect Avenue residents have been marginalized for decades, and it has become more apparent over the last 2 years. We aren't asking for a flag and a month of recognition. We're simply asking for you to work with us, not against us, and to resolve our problems here. We've asked for and expect our elected representatives do the jobs that they were elected to do, to protect public safety, our privacy, and our quality of life. Our legal right to live in peaceful enjoyment of our homes has been violated by the city of Redondo Beach's decades of neglect to the North Prospect Avenue median. Lack of traffic enforcement and disruptions day and night, and includes the Beach Cities Health District as a terrible neighbor, now spreading to our Borough Heights neighbors behind us. If the District 3 council member would stop ignoring the tax-paying residents of 500 to 600 North Prospect and the Borough Heights community and solve problems here, you would never hear from me. Promises were made by the city to us. A great plan for the North Prospect Avenue median was presented to us, and none of it happened. The mayor interfered and forced his wants into the plan, which violated the city charter. And our District 3 council member walked away when the heat was on her to make good for the residents here. It's been non-response and complete silence from her for a year now, while she involves herself in agendas that don't benefit District 3 or the city of Redondo Beach. All we wanted is for our elected representatives to keep good on promises made and stand up for us. Instead, all we got was a Jim Light campaign stop facilitated by Paige Koludarovich and a token incomplete landscape job with no safety, privacy, or noise remediation features. Jim Light interfered in the whole thing and ruined it. So what's left? You force us to fight you. It shouldn't be this way. So Jim, if you want to say that I'm berating our District 3 council member for calling her out and asking her now to do the job she was elected to do right by the residents of 500 to 600.
Yeah, your time's up. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Mayor, we have two more. We have John Pershilin and then Angela and Estroza Hoffman.
Okay, John, you have the floor. John, are you there?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. John Pershilin, District 1. I wanted to take this opportunity on behalf of the many residents who live along the Prospect Avenue and Palos Verdes Boulevard corridor to thank the Redondo Beach Police Department, the California Highway Patrol, and the city staff involved in last week's illegal truck enforcement operation. We greatly appreciate the effort to reduce the heavy truck traffic impacting our neighborhood. However, just to highlight the magnitude of this problem, the next day I captured a mix of about 120 tractor trailers and big box trucks across the intersection. So as the city moves through the current budget process, we would encourage funding for meaningful traffic calming and truck mitigation measures, particularly near stop signs, red lights, and especially designated school crossings. Thank you.
Thank you. And you said one more?
Yes, one more. Angela and Estroza Hoffman.
Antoine, did you say? Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Hi, I'm a resident on Camino de la Costa in between Vista del Mar and Avenue I. I've lived here for over 26 years, and we've always had parking issues. We live behind the Riviera Village, which makes it hard to park because everybody wants to park on our street and not pay for meters. You have a lot of dining people that come here. I don't think it's okay for us when I come back home from work to have to drive half an hour around the neighborhood looking for a parking because everything is parked. You've taken away parking places because of the new ordinance with the end of streets and more visibility. And I would really like for the council to put this on their to-do list and to actually look at what we can do. Because although I love the terraces in the village, that has taken away parking for people, and it's just making a big problem for residents on Camino de la Costa.
I guess she's finished.
Yep, I am.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
There are no more, Mayor.
Okay. Now we'll go down to item J1, ex parte communications. This is where we reveal and disclose any ex parte communications about the public hearings that are on the agenda. We do have one on the agenda tonight. That's the continued consideration of the fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget and the 5-year capital improvement plan. So I'll start beyond what I revealed last time. I've subsequently in the last week had meetings with the city manager, several department leads within the city, and I think almost all of the council members on one topic or another. Councilmember Waller?
Same as last time, I believe, city manager and the mayor.
Councilmember Castle?
The same, city manager, staff, and the mayor.
Councilmember Kalajerovich?
You, mayor, city manager, staff, residents.
Councilmember Obaji?
The mayor, staff, Councilmember Barron.
Councilmember Barrett?
The mayor, Councilmember Obaji, and members of the public, city staff.
I got to add the members of the public too.
Okay. Okay, so we're now going to item L1. This is the continued public hearing to consider the fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget and the 2027 to 2031 5-year capital improvement plan. I'm going to ask, we're reconvening the public hearing, so I would ask, do I need to reopen it when we reconvene?
Yes.
Okay, so
Motion to reopen public hearing.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All for?
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. Okay.
I'll kick it off, Mayor, and then I'll pass it off to our Public Works team. Good evening. This is the second budget hearing, as was briefly mentioned, of our 3 that are scheduled here in June. Next week being June 16th, and the night that we anticipate adoption of our budget and our capital improvement program. I have the Public Works team with me, Director Andy Wengie. We've got City Engineer Lawrence LeBlanc and our Capital Projects Manager, Jesse Reyes. They will be handling the lion's share of the presentation this evening, but just a little bit of housekeeping to kick it off. Your agenda packet includes quite a bit of information. There were an additional 22 budget response reports that were attached to your agenda materials that were transmitted prior to the start of the weekend. That brings our tally up to 40 completed budget response reports of the 49 questions that have been raised. There were 2 additional blue folder items, as Derek mentioned earlier, that were specific to revisions, corrections to 2 BRRs that had been transmitted last week. The remaining 9 items will be deposited as part of your agenda packet materials on Thursday. There are a few that are outstanding there, and will be helpful, I think, to your final budget motioning. But tonight's focus is really the capital improvement program. We have made a number of changes to our CIP book this year, and more are still coming. As you can see in the attachments, our project descriptions are continuing to evolve. There's been some good input provided by the mayor and council, trying to help set expectations for the delivery and execution of projects over the upcoming fiscal year, as well as to provide over time context to where each of these particular matters have been in our book over time. We are also working towards a real-time reporting system, a software application that will help us with additional transparency tool for the community and the council. Jesse and team here will walk you through all of those. Tonight will also be an opportunity for you to reselect your priority projects. We haven't done that now for a couple of years. I think the last time we did that was with the adoption of the, I want to say 23-24 fiscal year budget. So it's been a couple of years. We are asking you all to consider that tonight as part of our final recommendation before continuing the hearing to the 16th. So without further ado, I will kick it over to Jesse, who will be running tonight's PowerPoint. So with that, let's get rolling, Jesse.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jesse Reyes, Capital Improvement Project Manager. I'll be presenting today on the proposed 5-year 27-31 fiscal year plan and the fiscal year 26-27 CIP funding recommendations. First, an overview of the presentation. We'll talk about why CIP is important, valuation criteria for the projects, a little background and history on the program, CIP accomplishments over the last year, funding recommendations for the upcoming year, some status, project status and schedules, and as City Manager Wazanski mentioned, council priority projects for the council to consider tonight. This is familiar to many of you, to the Mayor and Council, but I think it's important to reiterate and explain it to the public at large. Why is the CIP important? CIPs are necessary for maintaining the quality of life of Redondo Beach residents, businesses, and visitors alike. They help maintain the health and safety of the city by ensuring the infrastructure, the streets, underground infrastructure is promoting health and safety. Good infrastructure helps maintain and increase property values within the city. CIPs also assist in economic development by investing in the infrastructure that is needed to make the city a desired location. And it also assists in limiting the city's liability by addressing potential hazards such as uplifted sidewalks, to name one. So the evaluation criteria, as we look at potential projects, we try to ensure they meet one or more of the criteria listed on this slide. Do they promote health and do they address health and safety concerns? Are they mandated by the state or other regulations? Do they help implement a strategic plan goal that was adopted by the Mayor and Council? Are they completing an existing project? Do they support economic development? Is there any operating savings in completing the project? And do they take advantage of significant outside funding? These are the overarching goals that the projects in the CIP should try to accomplish. So this is illustrates the current year CIPs by category. As you can see, fiscal year 25-26 included 108 projects, with the largest swath being street improvements, as it regularly is. As of today, 25 CIPs have been completed in 25-26, which I will illustrate in the following slide. Here's a list of the completed or substantially completed projects for the current fiscal year. I won't read them all off. As you see, it's a long list, but some of the main highlights that are bolded here. We completed the Wilderness Park Lower Pond this fiscal year. The North Redondo Beach Bikeway extension was completed. Redondo PCH open space improvements was recently completed, and we'll have a groundbreaking ribbon cutting, not groundbreaking, a ribbon cutting in the next month or so, once the maintenance period is completed. And Artesia signal improvements has been substantially completed as well. So that's just a handful of these projects that I wanted to highlight. Here's a snapshot of the last 5 years of the CIP program. The key thing to note is the consistency over the last 5 years in terms of the number of projects completed, and expenditures. Consistently, we're in the 20 to 25 project range when it comes to projects in design and projects completed. Really provide some consistency in project execution. We've also been able to work through some of the backlog and get the number of projects down by increased output, consolidation of certain projects, And next year, we are recommending the deauthorization of several projects that have either been completed, have some carryover money that will go back to their fund balances, or projects that are no longer viable or needed. This table represents the current year CIP budget and expenditures by fund as of last week. We do anticipate expenditures to rise to about $16.5 million when the fiscal year closes. Less than the last several years, but still represents a very productive year. Grants alone represent about 22% of that spend. And when you include restrictive funds such as transportation funds or enterprise funds, that percentage rises to 81% of all funding. I think that's important to note because we try to utilize and complete as many projects as possible without utilizing discretionary funding and utilizing outside funding. Now let's transition to the recommended CIP for the next upcoming year. Some of the themes for the upcoming year are, as you've all known, and we've transitioned to a new format utilizing ClearGov software. We look at this transition, as City Manager Wazanski mentioned, as an iterative process that will continue to evolve as we receive feedback. With that, attached to the item tonight was an attachment that illustrated some updates to certain project descriptions. We're looking for feedback from the mayor and council to ensure we're moving in the right direction, provide information that is useful. And I'll note that we continue to make those improvements where feasible and where the software allows and not limited. Next year's CIP also has a reduction of projects from 108 to 89. As I mentioned earlier, mainly due to consolidation of projects and the authorization of many projects. I think in my tenure, this is the first time we're under 100 projects, so we're trying to work through that backlog. There's no new discretionary funds that were transferred to the capital budget. We're relying on existing discretionary funding and heavily leaning on outside and restrictive funds. Along those lines, there will be a major focus on large facility projects such as Seaside Lagoon, pickleball, and of course the police and fire facilities. Seaside Lagoon and the public safety facilities are obviously large dollar value, complex projects that will take a complete team effort to complete and ensure their successful completion. Here's a snapshot of 26-27 CIP summary. We anticipate $69.1 million in carryover for 79 projects, 130.3 recommended net appropriation. Of that, 93 is Measure FP, 20.3 is grant funding. When you take that into account, that's 87% of the recommended appropriations for next year. Only 1% of the recommended appropriations is discretionary funds for the upcoming year. Totaling $199.4 million in our CIP budget when you take into account carryovers. 89 total projects, 79 existing, 10 new recommended projects. Here's just some more detail on that funding per category. The carryover funding, 69.1, 130.3 in new appropriations, getting to the total of 199.4. Obviously, with Measure FP, public facility improvements is that lion's share of that amount, followed by our street improvements at $48.8 million. Some of the highlights of the proposed fiscal year 26-27 budget on the park improvement side. Seaside Lagoon, we anticipate design and initiating construction on that. Franklin Park All Abilities Playground, that's obviously been awarded, and we anticipate the conclusion and construction of that here in the summer. Pickleball at Aviation Park, we anticipate initiating a design build effort for that project. Residential street rehab, which is one of our bread and butters, I think, in our CIP. We have our contract that's been awarded. We're working through contract execution right now. We should start that in the summer for the year 3 of the 2020 PMS. And our year 1, 2023, is currently in design and anticipated to go into construction late in fiscal year 27. City facility infrastructure, the Veterans Park Historic Library improvements. kind of the last phase of that, the ADA enhancements, that is under construction right now. We have a tight timeline for that, as we are aware, so that should be completed in the beginning of July. Measure FP, we will initiate that design efforts for both fire stations and the police facilities in the upcoming year. The city fueling station, while not a super exciting project, a very important project for the city, especially with gas prices right now. We constantly have our pumps going down, causing a lot of our city vehicles to have to go to retail gas stations, obviously at a more expensive cost. So we are repairing that and updating that fueling station, which should have some savings on the fleet side. And then along those lines, the electric vehicle fleet charging, these are chargers that are going to be added to the Public Works yard as we look to expand our fleet, our EV fleet. Transportation improvements, we're very active on that end. We have the South Bay Travel Network, LTN, that is currently in construction and should be completed this calendar year. We have the Redondo Beach Boulevard Corridor Project, also known as the MAP project, currently in design. Those efforts will continue in fiscal year 27. That is running parallel with the North Redondo Beach Bike Path Extension Project, also in design. Kind of running parallel paths there. Riviera Village multimodal improvements. We have a funding agreement in place. We've received proposals from firms, and we should be bringing a recommendation for council to award the design contract in the next couple of months. Traffic signal communication upgrades, both Prospect Avenue and Inglewood are in design, and at least Inglewood should come into construction next year. Prospect will take a little longer, but it is in design. And Redondo Beach and Vale Avenue's bike improvement and pedestrian safety, that we have a funding agreement in place now with Metro and anticipating putting out an RFP in the next month or two to start those design efforts. Here's a list of 26, 27 CIP projects that are already currently in design and will continue design efforts or will commence design in 26, 27. 20 total projects. As previously mentioned, there's a priority focus on Seaside Lagoon due to the Olympics, along with Measure FP projects. We also anticipate, as I mentioned earlier, moving forward with a design build effort for pickleball at Aviation. RFP is anticipated to be presented to council in the fall of 2026 with an award to a design builder in early 27. The PD shooting range would continue its design efforts as well, but this is obviously dependent on the successful grant application, which is scheduled to be submitted by the deadline of June 25th, and we will find out whether we were successful or not by September. So here we have anticipated construction stage projects. I won't read them all. We have a 33 total projects that we anticipate being in construction in some stage and some phase. Some of the highlights here is Fulton Playfield Infiltration Project. That one will be coming to council next week for award. We have Franklin Park All-Inclusive Playground, as I mentioned, which should be constructed in the summer. Repainting of the King Harbor Gateway sign that we'll be able to move forward on in the summer as well. Veterans Park Historic Library upgrades, as I mentioned, that'll be completed in the next month or so. Anticipated completed. So out of that list of projects that will be in construction, these are the projects that we anticipate will actually be completed next year. It's a long list, 29. We do anticipate completing the vast majority of them. It looks like a large number. Given the stage that many of these projects are in, we do believe it's a reasonable goal. I'll caveat that by saying, obviously, situations arise at certain stages during construction, and a few might not be fully completed by the end of fiscal year 27. But at this point, we think it's a reasonable goal to shoot for. And CIP project transparency, I think we mentioned it.
Could you go back,
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Reyes, please? Rail crossing bridge painting Grant Avenue. I thought we were going to do Artesia instead of Grant Avenue.
That is a typo.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'm just glad it's a
It
typo.
is, yes, it is
All right.
Artesia.
Cool.
That is
Thank you.
correct. And tonight, yeah, we put out proposals. We've gotten a couple proposals, so we're going through those right now.
For Artesia Boulevard.
Apologize, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
CIP project transparency. We have a dashboard that's existed for the last couple of years, probably a little underutilized, but it is a way that we're trying to get out the information on our website. As you look at the image below, on a Public Works webpage, you can access the portal, the dashboard. It takes you to that image on the right, which lists all our projects in the CIP. You can filter these by the type of category, by the phase, and you can click into each project that will give you some level of detail, mostly macro detail. It'll tell you whether it's in design, whether there's any movement on it, if it's in construction. Once we get into construction, we can fill in a little more detail on this. So this is something that we're trying to ensure we keep up to date. We haven't done a great job at it at certain times, but we are going to be focusing on ensuring that we have up-to-date information on that portal. On the project tracking software, ClearGov, as we've transitioned to the budget document module. But the budget module is much more of a static document. We're looking for a more dynamic, real-time project tracking tool. We anticipate that the ClearGov module would work to be able to provide that to the mayor and council. We have a demo set up with them in July. And hopefully that will be promising, and we'll move forward with adding that module and having more up-to-date information on actual project schedules and other pertinent information. And again, as we mentioned earlier tonight, we're asking the council to identify their council priorities. Each of you, your one project that you'd like us to concentrate on. And then just any high visibility projects that you think maybe we need to add more information or you guys would like more information on. So the recommendation tonight, select individual mayor and council priority projects, receive and file the budget response reports, and then continue the public hearing to June 16, 2026. That concludes presentation. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. I want to say, I'm going into my third year in this position, and I feel like projects have been accelerated substantially from my first year here to today. I know this last year, it feels like at least once a month we're having a ribbon cutting or something, and sometimes twice a month. I know we got two coming up, the Redondo Park ribbon cutting and the Veterans Park Library. Back to back, and we're just coming off several ribbon cuttings. So, appreciate all the hard work. I also looked at the attachment to tonight that for some of the improvements to the CIP project descriptions and data. I will tell you, I think you guys understand, but the main thing that I'm looking for, what's that, some kind of project schedule that we can take a look at and hold accountability to. The project's going to start somewhere around this month and it's going to finish this month, or engineering is going to start this month and RFP will go out this date, that type of thing. And also on the multi-year funding, it would help us to understand what was the original budget, what's been expended to date, what's to be, what are you projecting for expenditures, and has the estimate complete, either for the schedule or for the project costs changed from when we started it and why. So I appreciate the improvement. I appreciate the drive towards keeping it updated so it's a living document, not a static document we revisit once a year. So just great job all around and look forward to more. We're not going into BRR. Well, I don't want to go into BRRs if we're here to talk CIP.
Yeah, I think our focus tonight is CIP, but you're not limited to CIP. If you want to ask questions about the 40 BRRs that have been submitted, We're happy to answer them. We've got staff here if you've got particular questions of the department heads that prepared the various items. So it is a budget hearing in its entirety. You're not limited to CIP. We just want to make sure that we flush out your CIP-related questions first. And then, of course, from there, any budget-related question is
Okay,
fair
so
game.
we'll do it that way. If I could ask the council, first we'll go through the CIP, then if you have anything with BRRs. Okay. Yes, for priority, my number one priority continues to be, we got some things done in the Wilderness Park Master Plan. There's leftover money. I don't think we need to appropriate any more money this year to it, but I would like to continue. That would be my top pick this year is continuation on the Wilderness Park Master Plan. I'm not sure I agree yet that it's the shade structure, Elizabeth. I'm still waiting for cost estimates on that, but it will be something that's in the Wilderness Park Master Plan. With that, Councilmember Obaji, you guys have your hands up.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you. I echo what the mayor said. Thank you for your hyper productivity on the capital improvement program. You guys have been awesome, and I greatly appreciate all the improvements we've seen in North Redondo as well. I mean, across the city, but on Artesia Boulevard, the bulb out adjustment, Artesia and Ringe, all the traffic signals, the bike lanes, new bike lanes, repaving on 2 blocks of Grant Avenue. It's really been phenomenal. And then the bike path extension on the all the way to Inglewood is beautiful and highly utilized. Since you are open to adjusting how you present the CIP, I wanted to give my note. So if I could, please, if you light up 2B. So here's an example, Perry Park fencing. We appropriated partial money for this last year.
You want to wait till it's up?
Yep. Oh yeah, sure, but it's not anything fantastic to see. So we appropriated $71,866 for this last year. If you look at this, you might think, okay, capital costs, construction, 71,000. Detailed breakdown, subdivision park trust, 71,866. So you think it's fully funded. This doesn't communicate that the actual cost for this project is $250,000. I realize that you may say, well, the cost last year was $250,000. This year, the cost might have gone up. But maybe we just put in there, estimated cost, $250,000 as of June 2025. That way people know, okay, it's a stale number as of a year ago, but at least there's a number there and we know what we need to build towards. Otherwise, a council member like myself has to figure out, okay, what year did we get that BRR in? Go back, find it, pull it up, and then figure out how much we need to appropriate this year to get us a little closer to the goal and when will we be complete. So that's all. That was my kind of 2 cents on it.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, certainly appreciate that. And I think what will help in one of the conversations that we've had internally is, as we build out this document further, is providing some historic context as well, right? This is the first time we've gone to this format. Ideally, next year's version of this and the year after version will be able to tell that clearer story. And we are going to need to provide context, even if it is our best guess estimate at the time. When we provide a order of magnitude estimate in a budget response report, that's obviously a lot different construction cost estimate than after we've gone out through a design build process or created final plans and specifications and have an up-to-date construction and an engineer's estimate, right? So, sure. And we need to make sure that the public understands we're not necessarily holding ourselves accountable for a planning level estimate at the time of funding appropriation. Where I feel like we've got to make sure we're tighter with that is when we are telling you and going out to bid that we're fully funded and have the capacity to build on schedule and within level of resource. And we need to work in the document to help articulate the difference and the nuance between that stage of the project, whether it be just an appropriation stage, a design stage, procurement, or construction stage. And I think that's what we're endeavoring to do, and that's why we're categorizing some of our descriptions. They're going to look a little different depending on where we are in project execution and timeline. But we appreciate the sentiments.
Thank you. That's all I really had to say, and I just encourage, going back to the general budget, council members to share whatever they hope to fund, if anything else, or how they intend to raise revenue. Just because Councilmember Barron and I have come up with a draft budget motion that we're working on, and I'm happy to share that, but we obviously want to get your feedback as much as possible in advance of next week.
And Councilman Obaji, your priority project, yeah.
My priority project, you guys ready for it? I'm going to join with Councilmember Barrett, and we're going to double make priority aviation pickleball.
No clapping.
Yeah.
Do this if you like it, do this if you don't. Thank you.
You can raise your paddles and.
Yeah, just bring a paddle in. Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Barrett, what's your priority? Are you gonna switch on him now?
No, the priority would be aviation park pickleball.
Okay.
Yeah. And but I do agree with what both the mayor and Zane have said. There has been a hyper productivity, so thank you for that. I know you have other things operationally day to day that you're working on, so fitting in all of this is much appreciated. So thank you. And it's a good thing the mayor isn't allergic to red ribbons, because I'm just saying we've been doing a lot of cutting in recent times, and I hope we continue to do it. To pick up on the aviation pickleball facility, it was exhilarating to hear about an RFP being issued in the fall, and then a procurement of a design builder contract in early 2027. So that sounds great. And I was really happy to hear that contract award. And I thought the CIP project transparency site, that's great. It's not busy work, but where it's helpful for staff to be able to track and go through and get this deluge of projects done, that is great. And it allows us to track as well in the public, and folks can go to the site. On the kind of the schedule and timing and just tracking sort of an action plan for aviation pickleball, some things that came to mind to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if staff is already doing this. But just to go through, what could help or not is sort of a comprehensive action plan, maybe get an update at some point. Not busy work at all. I'll just throw out some concepts if I could, Mayor.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll go through these very high level. So comprehensive action plan for the aviation pickleball facility. Maybe address the following, not saying do it, I'm just gonna get this out there. Number one, a site analysis. So yeah, I think a survey, topographical base, geotechnical review and drainage, access analysis, sufficient to determine what may be the final project scope. And that may also help refine project costs. Number two, the court layout and phasing plan. When you think about it, that would be like a schematic design for 8 courts with a phasing plan that prioritizes using kind of a usable first phase as soon as practicable, and then beginning construction is, I think, we're hoping for early 2027. Number 3 would be, and the city manager's already talked about this, phase scope and cost table. So like a table distinguishing between essential opening day elements from deferred amenities like lighting and bleachers, fencing height, landscaping, a reservation system with cost estimates assigned to each phase. Procurement recommendation, and it sounds like maybe that's already been decided, design bid build versus design build, kind of assessing the feasibility of actually commencing construction early 2027, and certainly identifying any schedule drivers, risks, supplementary funding that may be needed to achieve the target. Number 5, funding adequacy assessment and available sources for additional funding. So like a revised cost estimate that incorporates all elements that may have been omitted from the 2021 feasibility study, a determination of whether current and proposed funding is sufficient, and recommended plan to secure any additional funding is needed. And just a few more quickly, court operations and access plan. So thank you for the BRR. That would be like an evaluation of controlled access options for the court use, without or with on-site staff oversight, and probably analyzing scenario 1, which I won't get into, but sort of a cost-effective controlled access, and maybe the preferred access model. community outreach plan if needed. I mean, we've been doing that for a while. Any environmental screening if needed. I know we have experience, and Elizabeth knows, and as does Kelly, Alta Vista pickleball, any kind of screening that we may be needed there. And, that, again, it's not even a wish list. That's like a full list, but the idea, I just wanted to kind of build it out, and this is also for the public. This is not like ordering a pizza, right? Where you pick up the phone and I'll have let me get in a 8-court pickleball facility at Aviation Park. So there's all of these steps, and I'm just scratching the surface of what.
Get the bleachers in there?
We've got the bleachers, that may be a deferred element. But the point is, this takes a lot, and, staff has a lot to do. And to the extent any of this is already being done, I wouldn't be surprised. To the extent any of this is helpful, that's good too. So that's pretty much it. So thank you for the presenters. Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. All good thoughts. Many of those we have discussed internally. Some of them are actually underway. Site analysis, as an example, some of the geotechnical and survey work that is going to be prerequisite to the project, and we have selected our assisting landscape kind of park architectural firm to support the preparation of the RFP, which is critical, and certainly it will be their responsibility to help lay out all of what you just described. So we look forward to that conversation, and as Jesse mentioned, we anticipate that happening this fall.
All right, look forward to regular reports.
Okay, thank you. And if I may, there was a pretty detailed letter submitted today about desires for the pickleball design, and hopefully staff got that and can did you guys see that?
Saw it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so hopefully that
haven't
incorporate
digested
that
yet, but
into
I
your
saw it, yeah.
analysis.
Can I ask a question about pickleball?
Sure.
Well, it's about pickleball. Well, we can come back to it, but.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think there was a referral about the public-private partnership model. Was that explored? It sounds like we're committed to one, but do we?
Yeah, I think we are still exploring that. I think we have looked at that. We do think the design build will likely be the best way to construct the courts. We haven't come across a private firm that I think would provide a comparable model to say what we have encouraged with South Bay Sports with the development of the sports field there, the soccer field. So we haven't yet identified that, but we are still looking as a potential option.
Okay, because if we're going down, all these design elements, if we were to explore a public-private partnership, some of that may change, and even the funding may change. So
the funding could change. That would likely, the synchronicity that would occur after we've prepared the RFP document, and at that point would be negotiating prospectively a partner to assist with construction costs, et cetera. We won't be able to bypass that initial phase that we're going to be working on over the summer and early fall.
Okay.
We're going to have to conceptualize the facility, and that's really what.
I just don't want to double back if we're
we're not at that
accelerating
point.
this
We're not
project.
at that point yet. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Can I just say something to that?
Are you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Is it pickleball?
Yeah, it's pickleball.
Okay.
I think some of what we're appreciating and why we've designated this as a top priority project jointly is the 4 courts at Alta Vista have generated $50,000. 8 courts at Aviation could generate $100,000 at least. I think maybe if it's a designated facility, you'll be lined up back to back to back using the pickleball facility, especially because it can be lit at night and there's no noise concerns there in a commercial area. And that would pay back this project essentially in 10 years, 12 years or so. So I think right now, I don't think there was interest by Skechers or anybody like that to jump in on a public-private partnership. And if we can fund it, which is close to full funding, then let's get it done and bring this huge amenity to the city.
No, I'm all for it. I just want to make sure that we're checking all the boxes. We're not going to double back on something, but I fully support it.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, before we leave it, any other comments, questions on pickleball?
Any other pickleball questions?
Okay. And before I call another councilman, you already stated your number one Seaside Lagoon, correct?
You're talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Yeah. We got to get it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, Councilmember Waller.
Thank you, Mayor. My number one priority is definitely the Riviera Village project. Something that the dine
Parking
around.
and transportation study?
The multimodal
The
study.
multimodal study in Riviera Village. It's what people talked about during Dine Around. It's like, that's what they were looking for. It's like, when are we going to be able to do, and they kind of described the idea of that project. And I said, it's coming. So that's definitely my number one. If I had to come up with a couple others, I'll take less time than Councilmember Barron to at least give you my priority list. The Redondo Beach Boulevard, Grant Ripley, active transportation, the bike path there. I think that's something that we really need to make sure we get done. And hopefully Torrance cooperates with us on that moving forward.
Looking better and better every day.
The Redondo Beach Boulevard bike, mobile act.
Oh, I thought you went to it.
Metro Active Transportation. I can't remember what it stands for. The MAT. And oddly enough, it's not sexy, but I get a lot of complaints about ugly trash cans. So the trash can replacement it's a little thing, but I've gotten more complaints about that than a lot of other things. And the EV charging infrastructure that's on here, I think we need that as a city, for both city and for the public. And of course, nobody's mentioned FP, but that kind of goes without saying. It's like, I didn't put that on my list. But
That's
Okay.
the penultimate project.
that's it.
Yes.
Councilmember Castle.
So I will say also my number one priority is Seaside Lagoon. That's the keystone amenity in the waterfront, and we have
a free one because Mike's already.
Too late. Too late.
Double down.
Pencils
Double
down.
down. Double down.
You can take my trash cans.
Right, exactly.
I'm writing in ink. It's too late.
But we have, over the last couple of years, we've developed a lot of new events that take place at the waterfront. And it's going to be important to have the renovation work at Seaside Lagoon completed on time, just as we try to schedule things around that. And I know that a lot of the businesses, would like to minimize interruption, but also like the improved amenity to draw a better crowd and, down to the waterfront. And the residents would like to get down there to enjoy that. So I think
It also makes it more usable for more.
for different types of events, exactly. And
Less fines.
exactly. And so.
Reduces costs.
Right. And so there are lots of benefits to completing the project, but completing it quickly and on time is going to be really important to everyone at the waterfront. And then also just wanted to thank you for the hard work that you all did in completing the renovations at the north garage and the Fun Factory space. So that space is ready to be used for parking and also downstairs to be leased out to a new tenant there in the waterfront. And then I do have one question for you, Jesse. In the presentation that you gave, you said the use of general funds was going to be basically at a minimum. Most of it, the money was coming from grant funding. But how much of the projects required initial funding from general fund that eventually may or may not get replaced by a grant once it's received? You know what I mean? Or do they almost all get funded eventually once the
Yeah, I think holistically, the Public Works done a tremendous job. We get asked this question all the time, we got to go out and do more grants. Well, if you look at the overall total, there 36 million of grant funding in the carryover side alone. It's the team constantly procures grants through a variety of sources, Measure M categories, transportation restricted categories, and we've been really fortunate. That's allowed us effectively to back off of having to use general fund or other council discretionary dollars to support the CIP to advance projects. So most of what you're seeing in the book that's still discretionary are carryover appropriations made over the past few years for under different budget motions that might be for different types of projects that are getting towards the conclusion now at this point. So I don't think there's anything that's newly appropriated or recommended for funding that is a lost leader, so to speak, if we don't go out and pursue grants. Obviously, we've spent some money advancing the gun range application, but as I've stated here publicly, the potential return on that, for a couple $100,000 of invested cost is is close to potentially 20 million. So that's big. And it's work, candidly, we would have to do under all circumstances to ever retrofit that facility. So I think the answer to your question is maybe zero.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Kalajevic. Top project?
Top project is Dominguez Park. And in the CIP, there are two different projects in here.
That's cheating.
No, it's not. You asked Councilman Obaji last time he picked two.
But guess what? The southeast corner of Grant Avenue and Inglewood is not getting touched. It hasn't been improved, and I'm not complaining.
No. Stop rebutting. My point is, these are essentially similar projects because it's about the stabilization of the landfill.
Yeah. And we can't do the park hillside stabilization until we complete the LEA work.
Right.
Anyway, so we have to focus our initial efforts on the LEA work. And then once we get that buttoned up, we have the ability to execute the next phase of the project. There's two pots of money. We're identifying them as separate efforts because we want to track the LEA specific activity and understand that impact. And it also lends itself to a different source of funding. We want clarity in that and transparency in that. There are perhaps some amenity improvements that can occur at Dominguez while we're undergoing the more substantial LEA analysis work and developing the plan. Things like fence removal, that type of stuff. We'll still have to get their approval, but that isn't as substantive an effort as what we're doing when we start moving dirt and that type of a thing.
So, and in your PowerPoint, you did say consolidation of projects. So I just want that noted, that we're consolidating these. My one ask.
I will mention, we do have a task order with one of our on-calls for the stabilization, right? So even though we can't move on it and construct it, we are working towards a design on moving on that once it's ready to.
Well, when it ultimately does inform the LEA work, right? Because we're creating a plan to do improvements. We're not just creating a plan to create a plan. Otherwise probably would just stop work on it.
And you're assuming Franklin Park is a done deal?
It's in the
contract.
It's in strategic plan. It's going to be done by September. So it's going to be ribbon cutting.
Yet another, which is a good thing.
It's great.
Just to understand your plan, your priority plan, it's stabilizing the hillside and then putting up gas monitoring.
Yes.
Okay.
Those two. Page 34 and 35.
Yes,
We
got
will
it.
know when someone uses the restroom. So I guess that's all the council had on the CIP. Question, Mike, when are we going to hear any feedback from the Budget and Finance Commission?
Yeah, they meet Thursday.
It's this, okay, I lost track of.
Yeah, they met right.
We'll hear about it at the next.
Yeah, they met a week after, so I presented to them a week after I presented to you the receive and file item in May. They have a second meeting to discuss the budget Thursday, and that's when they'll be formulating their recommendations to you all as it pertains to the budget.
Okay.
And you'll receive that in an attachment either next weekend or as soon as it's ready and available, we'll disseminate that to you.
Okay. So jumping tracks, I think that's it for the CIP tonight. From what I understand, we'll get public input in a few minutes. But expanding to the rest of the budget. So on BRR 6, when I read that, the PD Tech platform is my summary of what that one is. I noticed that there's a Zen City polling software in there. I was wondering if we can use that for the whole city, for not scientific polling, but for pushing out polls. Since we're
it's a great question. I'd have to ask Chief Springle kind of what the status of that particular contract is.
I don't need an answer tonight.
You just something to inquire in general. Okay, that's fine. We're happy to look into that. Let's see, a number 39, the self-insured retention limit. When I read through that, is that already a done deal? Yeah, we had to make that. No, there's no action for you. It's just us reporting out. We had to make an administrative decision on that in order for it to be effective as part of next fiscal year.
Okay. Number 41, that's the extra attendant at Wilderness Park. Not really satisfied with the answer there, and Elizabeth would like to work with you on at least some other approaches, but the main thing is maybe not the extra attendant, but how do we keep kids and vandals from, vandalizing and damaging the park, since you can't see it. There's no one attendant that could ever see that park, and even patrolling it, it's 11 acres, it's tough to do.
What about, Mayor? What about, in this day and age of technology, some automated system that sounds an alarm when malfeasance is occurring? So there's going to be a camera there.
So AI going, oh, no graffiti.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, presumably there's something that can replace a human nagging on alerting that something's gone wrong.
I'm open to any suggestion. Right now, it's close the park most of the time or pay a lot or pay extra money. So anyway, I'll work with you, Elizabeth, on some other alternatives. The farmers market bollards, just a question there, and I don't need the answer tonight, but we bought those, I don't know what you call them, but the collapsible bollards, so that not bollards, but
For street closures, yeah.
For PD, I think it was last year, and we've got those, we've used them. Is there a reason we can't use those here?
Yeah, it's the deployment that's the effort and expense associated with the setup and tear down that's the problem. So that's what we are looking to. So right now, the one demand we've had of the market, and this goes for all the markets, and is that they are self-sufficient in setting up the traffic control plan on a weekly basis for the activity, meaning erecting the street barriers, which in this case, they're using kind of a trailerable device, not all that different than what we own as an organization, and then setting up the traffic control wayfinding around the area. It's the expense of us deploying that, taking it away, setting it up. That's what we're avoiding. That's
We
what
can't like park the trailer at community services with the PD station?
it's the work to get it out there, set it up, take it away. That's what we're offshoring.
What do we do at George Freeway? Can you drive through it?
We actually set up we have a gate, a cattle gate that we basically we install to close the street.
Can we do that?
Well, that's kind of the manually removable bollard option that's in that BRR.
That's the same cost as what we do.
We could create that apparatus, but what I just need to continue to stress is we need to ensure that the market is responsible for its setup and tear down.
Yeah.
Because the minute we have to do anything,
But that's not like a crash-proof barrier.
if it's well sleeved and if it's a robust bollard that's foundationally.
One on George Freeth is you can.
That one's a little different. That's a street. The navigation there's different. You don't have quite the same level of risk. This would be more like what we see down guarding the Sleepy Hollow kind of holiday lights festivals.
Okay. The scheduled vehicle replacement, that's a big budget item in a year that, we're making this budget meet at balance by projecting some increases in revenues, cutting costs with open positions. Any way to defer some of that to create a buffer for us? And I don't advocate spending it or allocating it to anything, just, keeping that in reserve in case we don't realize some of these.
It's a good question. I think the better time to make that analysis is when we bring back the policy document and our effort to review our replacement cycles to see if there's any way for us to perhaps elongate certain procurements. We may, in some instances, have to shorten them based on M&O experience. It takes us quite a bit of time from appropriation to execution to obtain these vehicles. As you can see in the report, we're still receiving vehicles that were initially procured in 24, 25, or at least ordered. There was huge delays for a long period of time. So
do we pay on delivery or?
Yeah, it depends on the particular vehicle. Sometimes we pay a deposit, and then sometimes we pay, we actually procure it and pay upon receipt.
I'm not saying we don't need the vehicles. I'm not saying, I think vehicle replacement is prudent. I'm just saying in a tight budget, that's an area to get some buffer when we're making some other pretty draconian.
Yeah, it can be, and it's a well we've gone to in the past in some instances where we've just now kind of repopulated that fund, and most of the vehicles that are recommended this year are on schedule, and we have found that we delay, and sometimes we create additional M&O costs, and we can go backwards in certain cases. So I think the right time to consider that would be when we review and update the policy.
Okay. And then just a reminder on the WED community services reorg, we're going to change the wording to temporary for the director of WED?
We can. I think the best time to do that is as part of the approval of the eventual approval of the job specification, the staff report that talks about its execution. We're not reorganizing the two departments. We're effectively changing and creating a new department head title to supervise the two units.
Yeah, I'd rather have it documented in here so that somebody next year.
If that's, temporary is fine with that word as long as it doesn't have an immediate, we can't sunset the application. We have to allow it to play out, so to speak.
And then the hiring freeze, you did commit to showing the positions? That would be currently under that freeze.
Yeah, we can run the current list. We can run that list at any time. It's an HR document that can be produced electronically at any time.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Anybody else on, okay, Councilmember Castle.
Oh, sorry, that's from before.
Councilmember Kalajevic.
I did have a couple questions. For BRR number 9, is talking about the RV pack usage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see in there the rental for the speaker series. I was just curious how much they charge,
great
or how much we
question.
charge for them. And
Maybe Elizabeth can answer that. And just to make clear, BRR 9, the revised version that was blue folder tonight, included the expenditure side of the equation. I know that question had come up.
Okay.
That's in the blue folder tonight.
The speaker series is in there? It's about $28,000.
28 per time.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me pull it up.
Page
It was just
3 of that, I see
So the
distinguished speaker
one, yep,
series.
for the entire series, so there's 6 altogether, so for all 6 is 28,873.
Okay, just, that was a curious one. Since you're up here, can I ask you one other question?
I
BRR
have one too.
22, about the Heritage Court benches. I had specifically asked for concrete, and based on the BRR, there's complications with creating a pad and other costs associated with that. Potentially other materials that we could be using in different costs?
Yes, we are actually exploring a version of the bench that looks like wood, but is far more weather resistant and is at a much lower price point.
Okay.
And the current cost estimate for 4 benches was, with delivery, about $10,000. So
And would those require pads as well, or?
That's a good
into that.
question. Probably.
I'll say yes. If they're going to be placed on the grass, yes.
These
If
would be
they're
on the
if they're
decomposed
open,
granite in the courtyard area?
there need be a foundation of some kind, if not a pad. Yeah.
Okay. And you said for
the
4,
benches
there's
and
about
shipping
10.
itself, $10,000.
Okay, great.
I think it's
the inflatable one.
It's in the BRR, right, the number?
The BR, I think, is for concrete benches. We're exploring some
There's an
other-
alternative bench, yeah.
Councilman Elijah, did you have a question for
Hey,
Elizabeth?
anyone else have questions for?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's for you or if it's for Mr. Cook, but I'd asked for a BRR on live streaming for the Performing Arts Center. And then I feel like I had a discussion with somebody that it was in your budget already. Mr. Cook, but anyways, do you have live streaming coming to the Performing Arts Center?
I'll let Mike cook. We did work on it a bit, so I'll let him answer that one.
Are you going to be charging for live streaming if people request that
So
service?
I'll answer that one.
Okay, yeah.
When I spoke to Jack, who is our cultural arts manager, he didn't really expect folks to really purchase live streaming options. He didn't think there was a market for that. And so if we install it, it would mostly be for city use. He didn't really expect or think that we could actually generate revenue from that.
Okay, all right, that's not what I understood, but my bad.
Yeah, and just from my recollection from when we did put the numbers together on that, it was in the order of magnitude right around $50,000 to add that to the pack.
But not going to make that money back by offering it to folks. Okay, cool, thank you.
Okay.
2 other questions,
Go
but
ahead.
not for Elizabeth. You can. For BRR 15, is talking about the fire department, their turnouts and the auto pulses. Great information about the need to replace those. I'd like to see how many turnouts we replaced in previous years, and just, the ongoing, kind of like our vehicle replacement, so that this is something that we're tracking, because obviously we're not replacing them all at the same time. And I know we had previously done that, so if we could get that information.
Yeah, we can do an update to 15 to try to provide that context. I think we have spent some significant money over the last few years in the budgets replacing all of the turnouts. I think we're current with them as of now. Of course, that cycle will
Yeah, it's going to come back. And
come back. So we don't
know
need an
that it's coming
appropriation
back.
this fiscal year. It's one down the road, I think.
Yeah. And then the last question I had was about Dominguez Park in the BRR, talking about what is needed for the LEA monitoring system. It says an ongoing $116,000 for monitoring annually. Are we planning to put that in the ongoing budget? And when would that be in place?
Yeah, that would be starting next fiscal year, not this. And we did get some good news and conversations. Maybe we can reduce the frequency of that monitoring. So we're just still fleshing out what that plan is going to look like. But it will be an operational cost moving forward for the park.
It's not a small amount either.
No.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Waller.
Well, I will say but perhaps one that would be sustainable through our solid waste funding.
Okay.
Because of its effects. So that we'll have to, as we finalize that cost and have a better understanding of its long-term implications, we'll be looking at that as a prospective source of funds.
Can you explain that fund, actually? The solid waste fund?
So the solid waste fund is separate from our wastewater, like our sewer fund. So when you see wastewater fund, that's sewer system. That's the fees that are assessed on a parcelized basis that we collect for maintenance and operations, capital, et cetera. In fact, that's one of our CIPs is we need to do a comprehensive SSMP update where we have to look at our system, plan for future costs, et cetera, and perhaps even eventually update our fee structure. That's a likely outcome over time. The solid waste fund is generated through exclusive solid waste charges and service fees, primarily our admin fee that is collected as part of our solid waste activities.
Okay.
We have other sources into that fund based on our contract, but that's its primary source.
Thank you.
Councilmember Waller.
Thank you, Mayor. On your comment about the vehicle replacement fund, I get it's a big dollar amount, and if we did want to delay purchases, we do have to just be careful. When I got on the RBUSD board, they had been delaying purchases, and it got to the point where the average age of their fleet was like 28 years. And then it became a huge amount of money to try and fix it. So if we do delay, knowing that, okay, great, the next 5 years might be bad budget, we're going to be delaying. So we just have to be prudent about it and pay attention.
Totally agree.
So I'm not saying,
Look at the deferred
I'm not saying I
maintenance from the
disagree.
harbor and
It's
what it
just,
costs us.
it's something we have to pay attention to.
I'm not talking about a forever delay. I'm talking about a 1 year, because I hope the economy recovers.
Right, but next year we could have the same discussion. That's all. That's my only concern.
Anything else?
I just wanted to comment on BRR 4. I think that was a great report, talking about everything that's been done for traffic enforcement, showing that there is a large amount of activity that's being done all over the city, not just in my area, although a large percentage of it was dedicated to my area, and I understand that it's a big city and it needs to get that enforcement needs to be spread around to potentially more dangerous intersections, more dangerous streets in the city that do need that enforcement. But at least we've been able to show what can work and that it does make effective deterrence. So I just wanted to recognize that out of BRR 4. That's all I've got for now.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Obaji.
I had one question. BRR 15 was about all the firefighter gear that we need over a 10-year replacement schedule. Is there a funding need, or is that already part of the fire department budget?
Not a funding need this fiscal year. We have a fairly robust M&O budget, a material and supplies budget now that we didn't have in prior years in fire. Is it sufficient to cover all of that equipment over that 10-year period? not likely. So you'll see periodic supplemental one-time decision package requests to cover those gaps when we have them. The auto pulse device or something that we're continuing to monitor, that's obviously going to be a big ticket replacement item over time. We're going to try to get as much life out of them as we possibly can. This BRR daylights, that potential cost down the road, but we're not there in this fiscal year. But it is, looming over the next few fiscal years, and will likely be something that we'll have to at least apply some one-time funds for.
You're saying 2028, the monitoring system will be incompatible with the auto pulse.
Yeah, there's that potential. Sometimes there's extensions to that,
The moving target.
Yeah, it can very much be a moving target. So I tend to be cautious in signaling definitive timelines for that.
And I just want to say thank you to all the directors that we met with over the course of this budget. Director House, Chief Sprengel, Director Cook, Director Wingy, Director Myers, Treasurer Eugene Solomon, Chief Butler as well, and City Attorney Ford, Human Resources Director, Madam Clerk Eleanor, and Manzano, and so it's been a very educational,
Wait,
helpful.
we can't do anything if we can't read. And the person I think about when we read is right there.
Oh, yes.
Dana Vinke. Thank you, sir.
So quiet all over there. Sorry, Mr. Vinke, who I did thank profusely for allowing us to use the area at the North Branch Library for the North Redondo Farmers Market, which I think has been reciprocally beneficial for both the farmers market and the library. So, cool.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
Okay, I had one other on BRR 17, that the all-terrain wheelchair for Wilderness Park, that's to address ADA access to the park. Can we buy that with Quimby fees?
We believe we can, yes. But your project account at Wilderness Park actually has a combination of Quimby and some residual discretionary funds. So your CIP account isn't exclusively Quimby, but we have some other carryover. So we're okay to charge against the project account. Maybe that's the answer I can give.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I'd like to include that in my Wilderness Park.
The actual project account?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Rather than make this a separate thing we're tracking, just put it in.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to add it to the scope, and that we would recommend the same.
Yeah, because I continue to get, inquiries into accessibility, and, I want it to be accessible. The one I would go for is the one that said loaner and is the kind of mid-priced one versus the high price. I don't want people four-wheeling all over the park. I want them to stick to the trails. But something along, it doesn't have to be that exact one, but.
It's a good solution for a
Yeah, I don't want to
ADA
pave the whole
question.
park because that would ruin the whole feel
It
of
absolutely
the
would.
Wilderness Park.
This is a much more cost-effective, elegant solution for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And I am remiss in one thing. I did want to note that, I think one of the smartest decisions you and the council made last year was or 2 years ago maybe, was bringing on a project manager for FP. I think that execution, Christine's in the audience tonight. That's been exemplary. I think that's
It's her birthday too. It's her birthday too.
Well, I was you stole my whole
sorry,
thing.
Mayor.
Happy birthday, Christine. But we value you, and I think that was a great decision you made. And
I agree.
It's such a complex project. It is moving along, and I'm very impressed. So it's a model.
Thank you for mentioning that. I couldn't agree with you anymore.
So happy birthday. Okay, with that, if there's no other comments from the council, we'll take public comment. And I've got one card, Susan Higgins.
I prepared a speech, but given the comments from Councilmember Barron and Obaji and the rest of you, I'm going to skip through a lot of this because it was mainly going to be requesting that you approve additional funding for Aviation Park pickleball facility. Given that the comments that were made, I think that's going to happen, and hopefully as much money as you can. But I did want to, first of all, I'm Susan Higgins, a 36-year Redondo Beach resident, and I'm here tonight in my role as a group lead for the Redondo Beach Residents Pickleball Players Group to speak on behalf of the Aviation Park Pickleball Facility CIP project. Okay, that's the intro. And I also wanted to comment on the strategic plan. We understand the city's strategic plan is a major driver in making budget decisions and setting program priorities or project priorities. So we very much appreciated that the city council approved and incorporated Aviation Park Pickleball Facility into that strategic plan as priority area 3, goal 3.2, expand and enhance public spaces, amenities, and programs. Thank you. We've reviewed the city manager's proposed CIP budget and the additional funding that has been proposed of $500,000 for Aviation Park. And we hope that certainly gets approved. And if you want to add more to it, that would be wonderful too, because we were comparing it to the cost of the Torrance Wilson Park 8 dedicated court pickleball facility. And their budget was 1.4 million. And that the pickleball facility is now in the final stages of construction and hopefully will be done next month. 8 dedicated courts, court lighting, fencing, benches, the whole thing. I'm not going to go into the BRR questions because you've already kind of covered the BRR 28. So I'll just go to our recommendations. And when I say our, I'm talking about my group. These are members of my group right here. We recommend the pickleball facility at Aviation Park have 8 dedicated courts, court lighting, court fencing, and bench seating. Not necessarily stadium seating, but bench seating, Kelly, which would present the most opportunities for generating revenue for the city and provide the pickleball community, especially Redondo Beach residents, with the greatest access to play. Multiple pickleball programs for generating revenue are round-robin tournaments, league play, drop-in fee play, court reservations, and conducting classes. And as a give back to the pickleball community, particularly the Redondo Beach residents, allow free open play on Saturdays and Sundays when the courts are open, 8 to 9, whatever it is, 9 to 8.
Thank you, your time's
for
up.
8 a.m. to 9, but we'll get into that
Susan, your time's
later
up.
downstream. Details of
Susan.
these revenue-generating activities and clarification notes were
Your time's
provided.
up, Ms. Higgins.
I'm sorry?
Your time is up.
My time is up already?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Didn't get to my last comment.
No,
I didn't,
sorry,
I
we
can't
can't
see it on
extend.
the board, that's why I didn't know. There's nothing up there.
It was up there. I was watching.
I didn't see it. I didn't
Your
get
time is
to
up. I'm
my,
sorry. We can't
collaborative
extend
working
people.
group.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council on this item? Anyone online?
We have 2 individuals online. We have Daryl Boyd and then Joan Irvine.
Go ahead, Daryl.
Thank you, Darrell Boyd, District 3. So nothing about the North Prospect Avenue median, but a Catalina Avenue median renovation, more pickleball, and Dominguez Park for Page. It's really disappointing. Residential street rehab should include the North Prospect Avenue median. So where's that? Or did I miss something here? Saw a nice slide with a nicely landscaped median. Mr. Reyes, nice work, but why no pics of the North Prospect Avenue median? Pretty sure I know why on that. Paige, asking you once again to please stand up for the tax-paying residents of 500 to 600 North Prospect Avenue in the Borough Heights community. We are your constituents. We're asking you to support a budget for completion of the North Prospect Avenue median to include safety, traffic calming, noise remediation, and privacy. You all keep talking on this council about public safety and quality of life. Ours at 500 to 600 North Prospect and Borough Heights community has suffered for years, and it's getting worse. So please fix that for us and fix your relationship with this street and our community. This is important, and we would welcome that. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes, Joan Irvine.
Go ahead, Joan.
Hi, Joan Irvine, District 1. I wanted to just make a few comments about what I would consider kind of could be found money. I was taking a look, and these are just, I got these off of AI, so they're probably not totally real. But as far as dog licenses, we bring in about $70,000 a year in dog licenses. From what I have heard, only less than 25% of the dogs in Redondo Beach are licensed. So that if we would have, even if we would just double the number of licenses, that could be, close to, $70,000, $100,000 that could be utilized. And also, I think that the way to be able to do this is that require that, first of all, if a dog is out, that, we have the right to check for a license. Also require that apartment buildings or condos or whatever, if there's going to be if they're going to allow dogs in their buildings, that they require the dog have a license. Because I know in my building, there's a lot of dogs, and I understand most of them are not licensed. So right there, that could be some found money. Also, one of the things, I was just out on the Esplanade this weekend, and a lot of people were complaining about the smell of urine. I think one of the things is that also apartment building, people are coming and they're walking dogs there. It's great. But what they're doing is they're using the Esplanade, as a place for their dogs to relieve themselves. I would recommend, like the hotels have, that every multi-unit place or every place provide their own dog relief area so that they're not using the Esplanade for that. Also, that and then also do the fines, have some fines if people are just allowing their dogs to relieve themselves. Then also that, with this, and a second, I'm in my car, I've just been driving home, is that, that you designate certain areas of the Esplanade or other public areas that we as a city provide dog relief areas so that they can be specially set up. And what this would do, and so the dog owners could take their dogs there. And I think, and I don't have a number, but I think this could reduce the cost of the public works cost of cleaning the Esplanade and other areas of the city. So there's a potential revenue and a potential, decrease in cost by doing this. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
There are no other comments online, and there was one e-comment.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Sue Gallagher, fellow pickleball holder. We just recommend that City Council perhaps involve what she calls the stakeholders who know a lot about playing pickleball into some of the decisions, maybe in the design phase, the construction, and the entire program. Alta Vista came out beautiful, and we just want to make sure this comes out beautiful too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Same folks will be in charge, so don't worry.
Anyone else? Okay. Let's see, any other discussion by the council? Sure. Before I ask for the motion to continue the hearing.
Sure, I'm happy to share our preliminary thoughts that Councilmember Barrett and I have had. If you're okay with that, Mayor?
Yeah.
All right.
Light up 2B.
Sure, please. Councilmember Barrett, do you want to give any preliminary remarks on the draft motion that we've come up with?
Sure. So we're back again this week with a revised motion after taking further input from staff and the community, rechecking with directors as needed, and hearing from our fellow council members. And what we try to do is, one, be sensitive to the fact that we are in what I'll just term a tight budget situation. So look for, and kind of have that as the touchstone, right? We know what the numbers are. We know the type of situation we're in. And without revealing too much, I did talk to our treasurer, and I don't know if Mr. Solomon's here. There he is in the back. And, we're kind of in a bit of a situation, but if we do this right, we have a potential to be okay. So additionally, picking up on, what are the areas that we should focus on? Public safety came to mind, city beautification. There are some others. And we're a city of not one particular district or people, but we're citywide. And we thought it'd be important to include there items that we perceived as important to other segments of the city. I thought Councilmember Obaji did a good job going through that. And then finally, it's the reality, revenues and fees and adjustments and bringing certain items to what I'll just call kind of a market rate to help. Residents do bear that. We bear that. We're not excluded from it, but we thought it was important to kind of do a refresh on some of those. So with that, I think Councilmember Obaji has the motion. And it would be good maybe to take a look at that and get some further input and thoughts. Thank you.
Councilmember Barron. Good preliminary statements. So we would move to approve all decision packages in the 5-year CIP unless otherwise indicated, adopt BRR number 1 and 8. 8 indicates what we have subsidized historically, the signature events. But I understand we're going to get another BRR on that, indicating the amount that we think those events are going to get charged by the city this year. And we can make some adjustments to BRR 8. So one thought we had potentially was the Riviera events that are open to the public, free to the public, the October Halloween stroll, the holiday stroll, those events should really maybe receive a full subsidy, we thought, because they're totally free to the public and are a great opportunity for the public to convene. So we thought we'd adjust it in that regard and otherwise, as seems apparent and necessary. All right, so we start with a budget, importantly, a general fund budget of a balance of $0. And the subdivision trust fund has over $374,000 as projected. Lighting for the North Redondo Beach Bike Path. There is the last section of the North Redondo Beach Bike Path up at the north has no lights on it, and then going to Dale Page where you continue on the pathway also is completely dark. So just from a public safety standpoint, we thought that more lighting was needed there. That would cost $90,000, and we'd asked that the grant funds for transportation be pursued. Otherwise, use subdivision trust funds because Dale Page is eligible for that as pathway. NRB bike path, that is a highly used mobility section of the North Redondo. And so people walk on it, ride their bikes on it all the time. Students use it to get to school. We think that it would benefit greatly from a refresh, restriping. That's $57,200. That puts us in the hole, $57,200. BR 42, I'd like to help out the North Redondo Beach Farmers Market stay in place, help them with these very heavy barriers that they have to put up for the traffic. So if after designing, consulting a design professional, if it's recommended, go with option 3, which are these manually removable fixed bollards for the NRB Farmers Market, if there's a location to store them when they're not erected, or we'd like to. And that brings us, that's $40,000, and that brings us to a negative balance of $97,000. Accept the BRR 44, accept the recommendations made by the traffic engineer for traffic calming at 10 school pedestrian intersections and speed humps at all NRB bike paths where permissible. That's $0. They did indicate that there's adequate funding in the traffic calming safety capital improvement program. So moving on to BRR 18, parking study update for Aviation Boulevard, including center turn line analysis, etc. Seek grant funding first, but if not, then it comes out of the general fund, and that brings us to negative $152,200. This is extremely important from a public safety standpoint, in my opinion, because aviation grant is one of our, between between Grant Avenue and Ford Avenue, on Aviation is probably one of the most dangerous sections of street in Redondo Beach, with accidents all the time. Woman was killed crossing the street years ago. Crashes into Georges occur all the time, high speeding. So we need to slow it down. One age-old way to slow down the street is to narrow the lanes. One way you can narrow the lanes, put in a bike lane, put in a center line where people can make left turns, and the like. So we need to conduct that analysis, revive the analysis that was done previously by Beach City's Health District, work with Hermosa Beach as part of our strategic plan to develop a plan to make Aviation a modern street where people can move around on their bikes multimodally. All right. With that, we'd be in the whole $152,000. Now moving on to quality of life and revenue generation, which every one of these items serves two purposes. The number one complaint I receive in my district and have received over the last year, besides hedges as of late, is people aren't moving their cars and my street's not getting swept. And the police department's doing everything I think they can do within the resources that they have to enforce street sweeping and to issue citations, but I think they just can't keep up with the number of offenders that are out there. And when you get the data of how many of our citations that were issued last year are allocated to street sweeping versus citations for parking at an expired meter and parking in the red, it's overwhelmingly for street sweeping. So our goal would be to add 2 MSOs and RBPD. That would bring in, in the course of a full year, about $130,000, but I imagine it's going to take time to recruit 2 MSOs. So I've allocated a net $65,447 to the budget. BRR 5 also increased the street sweeping citation to $79 to match what we have for other citations. Again, I've got residents complaining to me, people aren't moving their cars. They're leaving them in the way, they're gaming the system, and their street's not getting swept. We need to deal with that. So this is both enhancing quality of life by getting the streets cleaned and generating revenue, trying to promote positive behavior that we want to see. My hope is that this will be a declining source of revenue as we move forward, because people will be induced by this high citation to move their cars and get out of the way of the street sweeper, and we'll have cleaner streets in dense District 4 especially. All right, increase the towing fee to $233. That is the average of Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Torrance. Here you can see the list: 209, 284, 206, 233 comes right at the meet. That generates $56,000. Now we're positive at $387,647, taking everything into account.
Before you leave BRR 5, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And this may be for staff. As I'm reading BRR 5 with respect to the municipal services officers, it actually ends up being a net positive based on the revenue they generate from.
Right, correct.
It said would be totally offset. Right. To generate estimated revenue.
That's why I have a negative 65,000. So every one of the positive numbers is actually a draw.
Oh, never mind. I got it.
I know it's in green.
Green is revenue.
That's my bad.
Green is positive.
Got it. Thank you for.
Sorry, it's kind of
odd math.
It's not probably the best way to indicate this, but that's just how it turned out. All right, regional parks, open space improvement, subdivision trust funds. All right, CIP, add to pickleball another $100,000 to get us towards the probably $1.5 million we need there.
That's in addition to the 500
suggested. That is in the addition to the 500,000 that's suggested there. And designated a Baron Obagi priority project. BRR 45, add funds to the CIP project number 3104. That's the replacement of Perry Park fencing. Again, being very patient here, just trying to fund it a little bit every year so that by the time I'm out of council, it's fully funded and can be replaced. And $78,000 would bring the full allocation to $150,000 of the $250,000 needed. In our discussions with Public Works, it was realized that there is a need for replacement playground equipment from time to time and at the regional parks, and so they wanted that they would benefit from $35,000 in subdivision trust funds. We added $10,000 for replacing wayfinding monument signs for regional parks as they come come into disrepair.
So those aren't the monument signs?
These aren't the monument signs for the city. These are just for parks. We'll get to the monument signs for the city. All right. BRR 17, add to the Perry Park Teen Center Improvement Project account, project 20940 for the Teen Center wheelchair lift. Thank you, Director House, for letting us know that the high school drama club has already asked about using the stage, and our team would be excited to partner with them on a performance or special event. School of Rock, also interested. And so all these groups have had interest in using the teen center stage, but are unable to because it's not ADA accessible. So thank you, Mayor, also for bringing this to our attention. This is BRR 17, fund from the Wilderness Park account 310010, the all-terrain electric wheelchair. Is that the one that you indicated you prefer, Mayor? And we prefer as well. BRR 22, Heritage Court Bench 104. Decided to start with that. Councilmember Kalajerovich, were you asking for a different kind of bench that costs a different amount?
Yes, Director House indicated that you could get 4 benches for 10,000, but it's 10,000 plus the concrete pad.
Yeah, that's the thing. That
18,000 total, right?
the concrete pads were 18 plus 2 for materials. I think 20K for 4 sites. So pads are 5K per site.
5K per site.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then the bench is depend on the specific bench. So yeah, it depends on how many and what type of bench.
Right, so if we're talking about the 4 pads, the 4 benches, we're looking at 30,000.
Yeah, roughly 30 of if we're going away from concrete into the alternative material.
Got it. And if we were looking at concrete, it'd also be about 40, is my understanding, because this is the cost. That's actually more expensive than the concrete ones.
Concrete, I think, was 4 per, a little over 4 per. So the concrete benches would be slightly more expensive than what Elizabeth was referencing as the alternative.
Okay, got it. All right, well, so far we funded 1. There is money left over here, so presumably we could fund 2. We'll get the exact number, I guess, from Director House and try to fund that in.
And what we'll do is just knowing that this is of interest to the group, we'll update BR 22 to reflect the alternative costing with the alternative material. And what we'll do is we'll aggregate the cost per bench all in, fully loaded, so that's an easier calc.
And can you verify if it needs a full pad or if it can use?
We will. We think it will probably need a full pad. That's the right way to do benches in parks. That said, pouring pads at Dominguez Park isn't as easy as it used to be. So we may have to consider that as well.
4 pedestals might be easier to just place.
It was suggested to just get wood benches there, and I realized that they wear in the sun and need to be replaced often. And
yeah. The other thing you may want to do is just appropriate an amount that you all feel is reasonable, and then you just direct us to execute as cost effectively as possible. But I hate to say it, depending on what we ultimately install, we may have to consult with our LEA friends. I know that sounds a little crazy, but that's where we're at.
All right. Continuing on, if I may, BRR 30, Dominguez Park fence removal. We understood from the city manager that could be drawn from the Dominguez Park Hillside Improvement Project account number 30780 for a cost of $23,826 to remove it and replace it around.
And I would say we're not even certain yet that we would have a significant cost associated with fence removal. We're looking at that. That's something we think we can do pretty cost effectively.
Okay, we were thinking, also relocating it and you around the.
Yeah, and that component, what I would say is we want to do that broader fencing plan. So that's just something to know.
All right, and the last category of budgetary items we had was branding or beautifying Redondo Beach. BRR 14, recurring increase of power washing of the Esplanade 2 more times per year, perhaps during the busier summer months, $14,000 and $7,000 per power wash. BR 38 RB pack panel replacement, $1,349. BR 19 landscaping South Juanita and Camino Real, $12,000. BR 29 rebranding RB FD vehicles with logo, safety vehicle design support from perhaps our designer. And I didn't include police in here just because that's a much bigger price tag, and there are only so many fire engines. They don't get replaced as often. So I've seen that the police department's already been updating at least one car with a logo. So I'm hoping that as you get new cars, you can update them with the new design. And then, but I did think that that car was super fly, by the way, when I saw it. BR 35, citywide monument and wayfinding signs refresh, $96,000. I think this is important for, again, branding Redondo Beach, having consistency, and some of those signs look very, very old and are in need of a refresh. That brings the total balance remaining at $248,312 and 24 cents. Last item, not drawing on the general fund, is mosaic art for the shore wall between the Cal Surf Club and the Riviera Cantina. Good idea of the mayor's. $50,000 to come from the John Parsons Public Art Fund, up to $50,000.
And referred to the
Cultural Arts Commission.
Commission.
Yes.
If I could change the wording, not mosaic, but art tile. Get that?
Mosaic.
That's a different. Or tile mural.
Tile.
There you go.
All right. And the ending general fund balance of $248,000 just allows the city manager to have a little flexibility and alleviates pressure on the flexible hiring freeze that he's implemented. So our goal was not to spend all the money and try to use it as conservatively as possible to get most bang for buck. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Can you keep it up?
Oh, sure.
I was just going to ask if we could share the Excel file like we did last week as well.
We'll do that.
Sure.
So yeah, we wanted to provide this, folks to have it, look at it, and be able to draw from that. And I know the mayor is always available to talk offline as well, and we look forward to those discussions. So thank you.
I thought you were going to leave it up.
I can leave it up.
I'm in largely in agreement with that. I question whether the last two need to be a priority right now. But I'm willing to talk to that offline.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so with that, first I'll take a motion to receive and file the budget response reports, and I think the briefing from tonight. Well, that was in the package.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can I get a motion to receive and file?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All for?
Aye.
Okay, and then a motion to continue the public hearing to June 16th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All for?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0.
When as Excel or PDF?
Excel, please.
Excel.
You send it to Eleanor and she can send the Excel file to us.
Okay, with that item, we'll be wrapping up very, very quickly here, I anticipate. So any city manager items?
Yeah, just a brief one. We had a household hazardous and electronic waste roundup this past weekend at a compost giveaway, second highest participation count. 1,100 folks came through depositing almost 18 tons of electronic waste.
Wow.
And
Lithium batteries after our fire?
Yeah. Too bad that they didn't wait for that extra week. But I'd like to give a shout out to Mitch Casey, who has been in our solid waste division in the Public Works Department for several decades now, does a tremendous job. He was kind of the staff liaison of the project, and we had a great program out there. So big thank you to him. And I was going to also mention the collaborative enforcement effort for traffic control with the California Highway Patrol and our police department team for, again, working through that with them. Very successful enforcement effort, and those will continue, not just at Prospect and PV, but elsewhere in the community as well. Not the only place that we have trucks that may be operating illegally. So big thanks to the police department for teaming up with CHP again, and we'll continue to work on those in the future.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, mayor and council referrals to staff. Councilmember Waller.
6 BRRs. Nothing today.
Okay, Councilmember Castle.
Nothing for tonight.
Councilmember Kalajevic.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember Obaji.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to refer a discussion about our hedge ordinance with a request to the city attorney to prepare recommendations as to how to revise our hedge ordinance, including to clarify it and maybe narrow who has standing to make a complaint, any
Just
exceptions
hedge
to that
ordinance
rule.
or all complaints like that?
Just the hedge ordinance.
I would second that.
Okay, Brad seconded before I could, but I did have a question of the city manager and the city attorney's office, and I don't know if we've talked too much about this. When should that come back, at least for an initial discussion? What do you recommend? You heard the motion, so.
Yeah, just a reminder, as with all discussions, referrals are not going to come back with substantive recommendations. You have to agendize the discussion to ultimately direct Joy's office, my office. You can't give that as part of the referral. We understand the context. We're certainly aware of the issue in the community right now and the issues with the complaints. So we'll react to that, but it's a two-step process. So your first conversation is about scoping, and then eventually you're then having the policy conversation after we've completed our research. So the initial scoping conversation could happen as early as probably latter part of July, but don't anticipate that being a policy decision night.
Okay.
And what kind of reprieve can we get for those who are panicking right now?
I've already, just to be clear, I don't do this often, but I've directed that enforcement efforts cease on the hedge complaints with this potential referral in mind. So there will not be any additional enforcement of the complaints and the warn notices and letters that have been issued to the residents at this time pending council's policy direction. So that's the direction I've given to PD, given the circumstances.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. So we need
Well, I would ask that you expand it so we can discuss scope at the next meeting, because I could see someone weaponizing another one of our ordinances.
This is going to be a huge lift, and just our ordinance, our code in many respects when it comes to these types of things is stale in many respects. I think this ordinance was perhaps last drafted in the 60s. We don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Let's tackle challenges that are in front of us, maybe one at a time.
Mayor, I'm not comfortable with that because Councilmember Barrett and I have spent a lot of time going over this hedge ordinance, conferring with the city attorney's office about it. Councilmember Barrett has worked up revisions as well. So I'd like to just keep it to this, and to the extent you come up or residents approach you with other issues, we can handle those as they come.
I think it's more a process discussion because right now, any code, most of our codes for, go ahead, Councilman.
No, I think that's sort of the point is this is like a first step. We have this ordinance. We'll look at it. We can't talk about the scope kind of at this point, but I could imagine maybe something comes out of that could apply to.
Okay, because the next one could be
exactly
parkways.
Yeah,
right.
So
and somebody just goes around going, oh, there's 57 violations of parkways.
Right. So, and with the huge lift, and I heard that word, and you don't use it a lot. Let's scope this appropriately and see where we go from there.
I guess my goal would be a strategic approach where we can generically address the process and applicability versus dissecting each ordinance individually.
Well, as we bring back, I can envision as we bring back the discussion associated with code changes to contemporize that process, that structure as it gets discussed could easily be applied to other sections of our code.
Yeah, kind of like what we did with the commissions. There was a lot of stuff that was written, rewritten, and written individually and independently throughout all the commissions. We just stripped it up to one universal.
Yeah, and I think we could get there but I do worry a little bit if we broaden the horizon beyond hedges for now. A little bit of Pandora's box, but I certainly understand the sentiment.
Strategically, as we're dissecting the tactical.
Yes, that makes sense.
And I do applaud the moratorium. I was going to bring this up if you guys didn't, because I empathize with these people, and if somebody's just going around the city going, oh, look, there's a hedge, it's malicious, right?
Yeah, given the circumstances, it's warranted, but, we do need to make the change to the code because the
Okay.
code is as written.
So we have a motion and a second, all four?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Anything else, Councilmember Obaji?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Barrett?
No, thank you, Mayor.
And they took the one I was going to bring up, so that's all I had. Okay, with that, I will take a motion to adjourn to,
June 16th.
well, I'll read that off. So just motion to adjourn, I'll read off when we're going to.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all four?
Aye.
Okay, we're now adjourned. The next meeting will be 4:30 for the closed session and 6 o'clock for the open session, Tuesday, June 16th, right here in City Hall. Thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night.
Still think we need outro music.
Any student